today is Mike Rosenberg, aka Passenger. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. It's really lovely to be back. I love this place.
Yeah, so you've been here many times, but the last time I think was maybe 2018, something like that. I mean, life has become a bit of a weird thing for trying to work out, hasn't it? What
it really
days
has.
and everything. But you were here. You did stage one, but you also did a little bit of an impromptu beer tent bus, didn't you?
I did. Well, the first time I came here was I think 2011.
Yes.
And I was playing the Den. And then I busked in the beer tent, which turned into a bigger gig than my actual gig. So yeah, the next time I was back, I was playing on stage one and thought I'd do another busk, and that's how Passenger started. It was all about busking.
You used to busk all the time, didn't you? And then you used to spend like 6 months in Australia and 6 months here. Do you still do that, or you haven't got any time now, have you?
That was the dream. Yeah, I mean, for 4 or 5 years, I was lucky enough to not see a winter. It was delightful. As you say, yeah, summers in Europe and then winters in Australia, but gone are the days, unfortunately. So yeah, don't get down under as much anymore.
And so going back to some of those first gigs, you played at the Unitarian Church in Trumpington Street, and I remember seeing you there because it's a fantastic venue for acoustics.
Yeah. And
how does it feel now when you're there and you switched off everything and you just stood and sang? I can remember Holes is the one that really gets me, and compared to when you're on now, you sell out massive arenas. I mean, stage one is pretty big, but it's nothing compared to some of the places you play. How does it feel comparing?
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I love all shapes and sizes as far as gigs go.
Cool.
I think you get something different from smaller and bigger gigs. I mean, the smaller ones, obviously, you see the whites of everyone's eyes, and that's how folk music originated. Before amplification, that's how it was done. It was a pub full of people and someone just playing songs, and I think there's something really powerful about that. And the bigger it gets, the harder it is to find that essence. But that's not to say I don't enjoy playing massive gigs. It's a real buzz as well.
And am I right in thinking you did support Ed Sheeran at one point? So that's probably...
I actually met Ed in Cambridge at a place called CB2s, which I'm not sure if that still exists.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, in 2008 or 9, I went and played a little acoustic night there when I was busking around the UK. And I walked in and Ed was halfway through his set. He was about 15 or 16 at the time. Yeah. And he just blew my mind, and I was like, who the hell is this kid? And we became friends that night, and we played many gigs together, and then he got to be the biggest pop star in the world.
Yeah. And you're not far off, I'm going to say.
I don't know about that, but yeah, he's been extremely kind over the years, and has taken me all over the world and allowed me to support him. So I have an awful lot to thank that young ginger man for.
But you also, because you are have busked in many countries, and you are a good presence. So like you're filling out stadiums in like Brazil and Europe and things. So how does that sort of come about?
It's a really good question. I have no idea how any of this comes about, really. It's just I think all it is just like, when I started busking, I had absolutely nothing. I didn't have a label. It was just me and my manager. No fan base, no trajectory, no idea what the hell we were doing. And you just do one day at a time. Yeah. Like, it sounds stupid and it's whatever. And at the time, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything big. But it's like anything. It's every day is a brick in the wall,
Yeah.
And so you keep on busking for 5 years, and suddenly you're playing to 200-300 people every night. And it moves, it works. And the world feels big, but actually, in some ways, you start joining the dots, and it's quite a small place, really.
So in the last couple of years, none of us have been able to travel very much. So where did you end up being for all the last few years?
I was very lucky. I moved to the country just before COVID happened, in the South Downs, just outside of Brighton. So
you're originally from Brighton, aren't you?
Yeah, from Brighton.
There.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just sort of faffed about in the countryside with my cats. It was all right, and I wrote a lot of songs. And obviously, it's weird. I've toured pretty much constantly for the best part of 15 years, and then for it suddenly to completely stop out of the blue was tough. But actually, in some ways, I think it was probably good for me to stop for a while, because I don't think I would have done left to my own devices.
I did wonder at what point you're going to okay, have a little break.
Yeah, just have 10 minutes off.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah. So you say you've written some more songs. Is that new music coming out?
Yeah, well, I've released a couple of albums sort of during and since lockdown. And yeah, I mean, I'm always writing, and
Yeah.
we're on to our album 14 now, which is terrifying and makes me feel quite old. But yeah, no, I mean, I think at this stage of my career, I feel very lucky. I've got this great fan base to release music to, and I just think, you know, the idea of making it is different for everybody. For some people, it's stadium gigs and number ones. For me, it's like making the music you love.
Yeah, and being able to do it whenever you like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what you're playing on stage one tonight? What will you be playing? Will you be playing a whole mixture?
Just ABBA covers tonight.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
I just thought I'd
that's my
mix it
other
up.
love. Can I just say?
Yeah.
So that's cool with me.
Great Swedish pop. Yeah. No, it's the first thing to say is that I play on my own. Passenger sounds like a band, and it's not.
Yeah.
Just to confuse everybody, but yeah, it's a bunch of songs, like some old songs, some new ones. As I said, I've got a few albums now, so just trying to pick the set list becomes harder every year. But I think it's a good mix.
And are you planning on doing any collaborations with anyone?
Not today, I don't think.
Because I see your sort of soulmate, Stu Larson, is here.
Yeah,
and I've seen him support you many times. And in fact, he was playing here last time you played, and we saw him. And I ended up having a good old chat with him while you were busking in the beer tent, and with your mum and dad, who I already mentioned, who are apparently here tonight as well.
They are here. They love this place.
Yeah. Well, it's quite good for them, isn't it? They can actually see you and spend some time with you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Stu is here tonight, so he might jump up and do a little duet. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
But have you got any coming up in the future? I mean, is that you tend to not work in collaborations, do you? But is that because out of choice, or just things haven't happened the way?
I think I have done quite a few sort of over the years, just as and when they happen.
Right.
I think because I write on my own, that's quite a sort of a solo process. And then I perform on my own. So to be honest, the real truth is I'm completely unbearable. So for anybody to spend any sort of length of time with me,
well, you know, you're honest with yourself, so that's not bad.
Yeah, it's taken many years, but now
you realise.
I really look at the man in the mirror.
Yeah. And have you got any plans now for after today? Where are you heading off?
We're down in Cornwall tomorrow.
Oh, lovely.
For a festival called Rock Oyster, which I think is like a foodie thing. I think Rick Stein's there and stuff like that. So
well, he kind of owns Cornwall now, doesn't he?
Exactly. I'm expecting big things from the catering.
Yeah. You don't big yourself just in case it's not. Then you're going to be very disappointed.
I know.
But
I will.
You would think.
I'll throw a diva fit. Yeah. I'll throw hula hoops at the wall or something like that.
Oh, that's brilliant. And anything for the future? Any tours planned?
Yeah. So I mean, because of COVID, it's all been a bit higgledy-piggledy this year. So we're finishing summer festivals in the next few weeks, and then we've got my European headline tour, and then we're heading to Australia and New Zealand as well.
Oh, brilliant. So you're back out there then?
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's for their summer then?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
you planned it well this time then.
It's not my first rodeo. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you ever so much, Passenger Mike, and it's been a pleasure, and I'll look forward to hearing you later.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. I think